Morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
So yesterday, didn't realize that we didn't finish Mishna Beis. So we'll finish Mishna Beis and go on to Mishna Gimel. Right. So we're at the end of Mishna Beis where it says at Emasai Shayal and Isak Shamim. Right. So the first half of the Mishnah was talking about when we stop saying Mashiv Haru, or regarding Mashiv Ruach Mered Geshem, as to which tefillah do we start and during which tefillah do we stop. And the Mishnah said before that Rabbi Yehuda had said that when it comes to starting Mashiv Ruach Mered Geshem, we start that by Musaf. And when we end saying Mashiv Ruach, again, it's by Musaf of the first day of Pesach. We begin Musaf of Shemini Atzeres, and we end the Musaf of the first day of Pesach. Now the Mishnah says like this: until when do we ask for rain? Now here, asking for rain means that when we add into the Shemini Esrei in the Baruch Aleinu, the saying Tal Umatar Livracha. That's what it means to ask for rain. That's what we're doing. We're asking for rain. Rabbi Yehuda Omer. So until when do we do that? Rabbi Yehuda Omer. Rabbi Yehuda says Ad Shayavar Pesach, until Pesach is over. It means throughout Chol Hamoed Pesach, you will still say, according to Rabbi Yehuda, you will still say the saying Tal Umatar Livracha. Rabbi Meir Omer. Rabbi Meir says Ad Sheyetze Nisan, until the month of Nisan has left. The entire month of Nisan, you will still ask for rain. Shenemar, because the pasuk says, "Vayored lochem geshem." He brought down rain for you, Meira umalkush barishon, the early rain and the late rain in the first. The first means the first month. What's the first month of the Torah? Nisan. So the pasuk is saying that basically where this is. I'll read you how they explain it here. Since this verse, which praises Hashem for bringing rain in the month of Nisan, does not specify a particular date, it implies that rain is beneficial through the entire month. That's the pasuk is talking about. Pasuk is praising Hashem for bringing down the rain in the first month. Doesn't specify where in the first month. Therefore, that implies the entire month. That is the opinion of Reb Meir. Now, here in the notes, they bring down Rabbi Yehuda will respond like this. This is a very interesting response. Rabbi Yehuda, however, would respond that the verse cannot prove that we can pray for rain until the end of Nisan, because it refers to a unique event. The prophet Yoel, this is a pasuk. This pasuk that was brought down is from the book of Yoel, from the Treyasar. The prophet Yoel was prophesying that after 3 years of drought, rain would fall in Nisan and cause crops to grow in a miraculous fashion. So that pasuk was talking about a miraculous situation. It wasn't talking about your typical situation. Now, again, what part of it is miraculous? The very fact that the rain will fall in Nisan and the crops will grow in a miraculous fashion. It could be the fact how the crops grow so quickly would be miraculous. Is the fact that the rain is falling miraculous? That's not clear. But the point would be that Yehuda says there's no point from the pasuk. The pasuk you can't prove anything because the pasuk is talking about a miraculous event. And therefore, the fact that it's happening in the month of Nisan is not a proof that Nisan is the whole month of Nisan is a time for rain. So therefore, Yehuda says Reb Meir's pasuk is not a proof, and therefore he says until Pesach is over, that is how long you will say you'll ask for rain. Now, if you think about it, according to Rabbi Yehuda, if he says that you ask for rain until Pesach is over, so how long would you think, forgetting about what you may know or you have learned, if we ask for rain until Pesach is over, how long should we say Mashiv Ruach Mered Geshem for? How long should we praise Hashem for rain? They should go together, shouldn't they? They should go together. So actually, they bring down the notes from the Gemara that actually we have here what would look like a contradiction of Rabbi Yehuda. Because here Rabbi Yehuda says you ask for rain until Pesach is over. What should follow from that is that when we praise Hashem for rain, when we say Mashiv Ruach Mered Geshem, it should follow. It means the whole Pesach. We should also be saying Mashiv Ruach. And in the first half of the Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda said that when do we stop saying Mashiv Ruach? On the first day of Pesach. So we seemingly have a contradiction. And the answer is, as the Gemara says many times, these are actually two different students of Rabbi Yehuda quoting Rabbi Yehuda. There are two different opinions as to what Rabbi Yehuda held. So the first half of the Mishnah is one version of Rabbi Yehuda's opinion, and the other one is another version of his opinion. So they according to the first Rabbi Yehuda, you stop asking for rain the first day of Pesach also, which means Chalamayid, you're not going to say the same Talamatil Bracha in the Shemona Esrei. Okay. Mishnah Gimel. Now, we just finished.
We separate.
Now, when it comes to starting,
yeah, there's
not stopping. Now, Mishnah Gimel. Now, we just had a Mishnah talking about when we stop saying the same Talamatil Bracha. How about when do we start? So, when do we start? The Mishnah says, on the third day of Mar Cheshvan, that's when you ask for rain. The third day of Mar Cheshvan is 11 days after Shmini Atzeres. According to this first opinion, 11 days after Shmini Atzeres is when you start saying the same Tal Umatul Livracha. What's the Cheshvan? What's the reason 11 days? The way they bring down explanation here from Rashi is that is when the rainy season begins. It doesn't begin right after Sukkot. It really begins 11 days after Sukkot. Okay, so we start praising Hashem during Sukkot because Sukkot is the time that we're judged for water. And therefore, we start praying again. So therefore, we would start praising Hashem. Perhaps that's why we start praising Hashem on Sukkot for it, even though we do it at the end. Okay, but we don't. I guess we want to begin on Yontif maybe because everybody's there. But when we begin to praising Hashem, we begin praising at the end of Sukkot, which will be close to the beginning of the rainy season. But the rainy season itself begins on the third of Mar Cheshvan. Rabbi Gamliel says the Shiva Bay. The seventh day of Mar Cheshvan is when we start. 15 days after Shmini Atzeres. After Hachag means after the festival of Sukkot, but it means the end of the festival, which is Shmini Atzeres. Kadesh Yagia Achrin Shabi Yisrael and Ahar Pras. So that the last Jew should get to the Euphrates River. The last Jew means that the last Jew, the Jews who have to travel the farthest, they were in Yerushalayim for Yontif, right? Yerushalayim for Yontif. And apparently some of them stayed a whole Yontif. So now they got to get home. The furthest that it took to get outside of Eretz Yisrael to Dar Paras, the Euphrates River, that's the edge of ancient Eretz Yisrael. So the furthest point in Eretz Yisrael, the furthest part of traveling, at least in Eretz Yisrael, from Yerushalayim, which was the end, which was by the Euphrates River, that took 15 days. So no asking for rain until those people can get out of Eretz Yisrael. Because if we start asking for rain before that, it's going to rain on them, and the roads are going to get muddy, and they're going to have a hard time traveling. So in case our prayers are going to be answered very quickly, therefore we say don't ask on their behalf until they get out of Eretz Yisrael. Okay, now there's an important thing to talk about here, and that's the following. First of all, the third, and the seventh that we talk about, right? Where they hold it's the third, the seventh, that is revolving around the rainy season. Okay, the question is, the third is when the rainy season begins. 7, give him more time to get home before he's asking for rain. But this is the rainy season, okay? The rainy season where? Rainy season in Eretz Yisrael, okay? The Jews of Babylonia who lived in low, well-watered lands did not need rain so early in the year. They just didn't need it then, okay? Therefore, they did not start asking for rain until the 60th day after what we call the Kufas Tishrei. The Tishrei season begins, which is what day? 60 days after the autumn equinox. Okay, that is when in Babylonia they would start asking for rain. They knew those calculations, they knew that was when they started needing rain, and therefore they didn't start asking for rain until 60 days after Kufas Tishrei. When it comes to praising for rain, everybody does the praise at the same time. When it comes to actual asking for rain, that is going to be different. So we've got Eretz Yisrael, we've got Babylonia, right? How about everybody else in the world?
Babylonia.
What did I say?
No. Everybody else holds by.
The answer is, nowadays, all places outside of Eretz Yisrael begin asking for rain according to the custom of Babylonia. In Eretz Yisrael, when did they start asking for rain? the 7th of Cheshvan.
The 7th, yeah.
In Eretz Yisrael, they start asking earlier, and because that's when they need the rain, or at least that's how the rain worked then. But everywhere else, outside of Eretz Yisrael, everybody follows Babylonia, whether that's your time or not. Okay. Now, here's another interesting thing they bring down, and that is, it should be noted that the 60th day after the autumn equinox. When's the autumn equinox, Richard?
September 20th, 21st.
Very good, 21st.
Yeah.
Okay. 60 days later falls on what date?
November
19th.
Okay.
Right? However, the custom is not to begin asking for rain until December 5th or 6th. In this century, they put in brackets. I think there was a time it was 4th and 5th.
I think it's 4th. And
Sometimes 5th. It's 4th now.
Yeah.
Okay. But they bring down here 5th and 6th.
It depends on a leap year for the next.
Whatever it may be.
Yeah.
The reason for this is complicated. There you got it. Okay, there's your explanation. Okay, the reason for this is complicated and has to do with different systems for calculating the seasons for calendar purposes, as well as to change from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar in the late 16th century. For a full explanation, see Tractate Tinus of the Shotton Hebrew edition of the Talmud, 10a, note 40. That's in case you want to see it. But at the end of the day, the halacha says you follow 60 days after the autumn equinox. That, practically speaking, for us, we work with December 5th or 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Have a wonderful day. Did we finish it? Yes, we did. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.
He said the spring